To us, you're one of the famous people we're meeting here on this stream. We're excited to have you. Weirbeard is the eSports and Tournaments Director at Splinterlands. And we had to have you on the show. Want to talk about, first of all the changes coming to tournaments and everything, and Splinterfest, and how that's going to kind of launch this whole new era of tournaments for you. So can you tell us about what you have planned for Splinterfest?
Ooh, Splinterfest is fun. All right, so we are doing our 2 tournaments, the Coliseum of Chaos, and we're going to have a Gold Modern League tournament and a Diamond Wild tournament, and they're both the first instances of our Ghost Card tournaments. And it's going to be interesting. Like, it's going to be the first time that we're really taking it out for a spin in the wild. But more than that, it's not just the tournaments themselves. It's also kind of the back end going into it, right? Like, this is going to be the first time that we have a whole production thing put together. You know, we have technical directors, we have on-stage casters, we have hair and makeup coming beforehand.
Right, that's awesome.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a deal, and I think I'm very nervous for it. Like, I'm very anxious about it as a person, just because it may not seem like it, but this is the first time to show like Splinterlands is a real thing when you go and start talking esports and start talking competition, right? Like, if you really go back and look at any of the town halls over the past 5 months, 4 months, most of the time, a lot of the discussion is about like economics and the tokenomics and just kind of like money talk around the game. We haven't had a lot of just straight gameplay changes coming. What I'm hoping is that this is like one of those moments that just goes so well that you can internally within the team just look at people and they go, do this more, and you go, gotcha, boss. Whatever you want to do.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was definitely wondering if you were getting a little like nervous, little anxiety popping up, because it is a big deal, and you have been working hard for this moment. So,
well, I mean, it's also part of like, I was talking to Liam or Chatter about it today, right? And he kept being like, all right, you need to relax, because a lot of people in this community probably don't have, like, they don't know what esports looks like, right? Like, when you say esports, it just kind of goes over their head for what it could be, right?
Sure.
They think it's like, oh, are you going to treat it like the NFL? Because they may not follow, you know, like competitive Counter-Strike or competitive Valorant or anything like that. So the bar is kind of low, but I'm holding myself to a very high standard on this, because it's like, it's not just for like, there's things that are going to come from this, right? Not only hopefully more open tournaments where people have access to all the cards, but also from a business perspective of like, if this goes off, all of a sudden next year we're talking about like, hey, we can do regional qualifiers in like Southeast Asia and Brazil and Europe, and maybe do in-person tournaments like Splinterfest throughout the year, culminating in a big world championship. But like, that all starts with this. And then the other thing too is like, we have media sponsors for this, right? Like, we brought in HyperX. Even though this is the HyperX arena, we got HyperX themselves on board to be a sponsor of the tournament. You know, we have EMP, cool. We have Nifty Arcade, we have Hive Engine themselves all on board as like tournament presenting sponsors. And while we love having them, and it's, you know, it's not a slight against them, but like, you start here and eventually you start getting all those other bigger companies. You know what I mean? So now we're not talking about, yeah, like, we're not like talking about doing
gamer stuff.
Yes, and it's also though like them paying to be attached to our product. Like, a lot of things that happen in Splinterlands are like partnerships. You know what I mean? Where it's like, you have to always be trying to like shake hands, kiss babies, and do like work together. But like, esports and tournaments can just be like, no, this is the product that we sell as the entertainment from the game. You pay to be attached to that, period. Like, it's not us doing anything to benefit them. They get the benefit from just, you know, being on the ticket with us.
Sure.
Yeah. And, you know, I really do see, and one of the reasons why I'm personally committed to going, which is, it's been a challenge personally. I mean, you know, it's $2,000. It's over $2,000 for me to go. But I see this as a proof of concept.
Yes,
you know,
exactly.
This is what the team has envisioned, and it's something Gank and I have been behind 100% between tournaments, between SPS, and, you know, the things that you all are doing. I think Gank would like land a little faster, but generally we are.
I do feel like I manifested Weirdbeard into existence and into like.
He was your second wish from the genie.
Yes.
Yeah, like I was like, I didn't even know I could make that happen, and poof, he showed up in perfect form.
Well, I was gonna say, like, it is a proof of concept, right? Yeah. More so than like being able to, because that's the number one thing we have to keep explaining to, because HyperX has a production staff in-house, right? We're leveraging some of them for putting on this tournament and running all the stuff. And we have to keep emphasizing to them, because they do these tournaments with like Rainbow Six Siege or these other traditional video games.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, well, you're going to be doing on-stage interviews. Like, what kind of replays do we want to do? And how do we want to, and I keep having to tell them, like, remember, this is just to show that these are real people. Like, we need to get players on stage, and I don't want to talk to them about the game. I want to talk to them about, like, hey, Schnapoon, you're here all the way from Japan, right? Like, that's friggin' amazing. Like, we need to talk about that. And like being able to get people there, I think a lot of them are in your same shoes of just being like, this has gone from being a DeFi project that's just a white paper, right, to all of a sudden, like, what's bigger, what's out there. And I think a lot of people don't know what is out there, but they're interested to see, which is like a very hard trait to find in a lot of communities.
Yeah. And you know what my favorite part is that the proof of concept is happening at, I mean, a bear market, a very bear market, turbulent times, but it's still positioning itself. And you guys are doing this in a way that when the market turns, because it will turn, and then those people will start searching blockchain stuff again, and that wave of people, that next wave is going to come. At that point, if all of this works and it goes off, then that will just catapult. I mean, that's what, we're planting that seed. And I feel like as a player, and someone in Splinterlands, going to Splinterfest is like a commitment to that dream.
Yeah, so, and I mean, you know what else costs absolutely nothing is competition. It's a thing you can always sell trying to beat somebody else in a competition.
Absolutely.
And like to be able to, like, again, I don't mean to harp on it, but like when we spend a lot of time as a company talking about like the money side of the thing instead of like game improvements and things that we're doing to make the new player experience better,
entertainment value.
Yes, like that's the winning message. That's the thing that like all of a sudden goes from, you can nickel and dime me and complain about, like our shares and like, you know what I mean, like technical jargon, but when you just get fun entertainment, it's so much more of a powerful motivator, I think, than like anything else that you could sell.
And I think that's also too where maybe Splinterlands TV falls in play. Us, reaching out and putting more of the gameplay out there. And I'm excited, man. What's can you go over the prizes again? I think people need to hear.
Yeah,
this.
let me pull these up, because it's always fun to like
lots of plots.
Have people be like, wait, what? Gold League tournament, the winner gets 10 land plots.
Wow.
Second place, 3 land plots. Third place, 2. Fourth place, 1. The Champion League winner, 15 land plots. Second place, 3. Third place, 2. Fourth place, 1. MVP voted on by the crowd, 5 land plots.
I mean, that's a big one. That's pretty amazing.
That is cool. And I will say, as far as what Weirdbeard was saying about that energy of an esports, like it reminds me of like the World Series of poker. Like when there's a final table, and once in a while you'll get like the last 2 or 3 guys, one guy's from like England and one guy's from another country like Spain or something, and I swear it sounds like it's a football stadium, like, and hooligans just like every time a hand is won by one guy, like these guys will go nuts. They'll start singing. They'll start, and it goes back and forth, and it just creates this like bigger than whatever it is, like aura. And, it's just a really kind of cool, like to even see like spin into that. And so, yeah, like it's definitely that pressure of the money and the everybody kind of wanting to wish they were in that person's seat of being playing there, you know, it just creates a really cool environment. And I think you're really setting it up to hit all the marks there.
I'm like, and then even outside of that, I think it's going to be exciting to try to have people see like that there is this path forward with access to all cards. I think it like it's really it's such a touchy subject because even the people that are in support of it will still caveat it a lot of the times with, but we got to make sure not to devalue cards, and they're very worried about that.
Yeah.
And it's like, but the number of people that you bring in by doing events like this is like, it's, you can't count it, right? Like the doors that it starts opening is so much more important at the end of the day. And I'm excited to, like, you have to do this tournament well to show them like, hey, just shut up and sit down for
the value.
Like, yeah, like, I got this, don't worry about it. I don't need you to pass votes on how we're gonna do this because I got it, you know what I mean?
Right,
like let me be the shepherd of it, because it's a lot easier for like Aggie as a CEO, right? Like there's lots of small details that are more than just like, hey, I want to do this, right? Like you have to do collective stuff. But with tournaments, it's much easier to be a rictocracy or a rictatorship, I should say. Of just like, just let me handle it, and we're gonna get there. I really am confident that, like, you know, we've talked to a lot of insiders in the actual video game and esports space, and they're like, this could be it, and we have that opportunity. So now it's like time to stop being scared. Like we're putting our money where our mouth is, and part of that is doing a large in-person tournament, because scared money doesn't make money. So we do one of these and we realize, hey, we may be spending $30,000, $50,000 every time we do one of these events, but the exposure and new players and the atmosphere that it brings is it's priceless. You can't put a price on it.
Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you want more Splinterlands content, just keep watching these videos. We got a lot of it. We drop a video a day. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time.